Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another live stream. A very special live stream. You know, we just had a very special event happen. No matter how you think of it, over there in the US of A, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Because, well, a lot of people that are watching this, you guys are watching this from the USA, or of the origin of the US of A, and therefore, whether you live here or not, this is probably going to impact you in one shape, form, or another, or not. And so this is why we're going to be talking about it today, because a lot of people out there are very polarized by this topic. So before we get started, though, I just want to, give a few minutes, to make sure everybody gets their notifications, gets in their seats, and we get the ball rolling today. So today, I don't know, let me know what you guys want. If you guys want this background, or if you guys want the beach. You know what? We'll put this background on for a while, and then we'll put the beach. Let me know about the music. Hopefully it's not too loud. Just waiting, for everything to, get functioning over here. As you guys already know, live streams are a little different than just a regular stream. I'm sorry, than just a regular video. But anyways, with all that being said, guys, there's a lot to talk about, and there's a lot of concerns, and that's what I'm trying to do with this video. Okay, before I even get started, I just want everyone in the audience to know, and I'm gonna have to re-emphasize this, through the video as we go along. I am not affiliated with, either side, okay? I don't care, about the Republicans or the Democrats or independent or anything like that. I got a different view, okay, on all of that, all right? I got my own personal views on all of that. In fact, if you guys care more about my own personal views, go check out my other channel, Jose Unleashed. And in fact, I'm going to be talking about this later on today. But please, that's not what we're talking about here. This channel, okay, is to talk about, about living in Mexico from the point of view of an American living out here in Mexico. And so, obviously, right now in the USA, we just had an election, and we just had President Trump, get reelected for another term. And a lot of people out there are worried or scared, and a lot of people are happy. In fact, I took a poll earlier today. I see some of you guys have already voted. Please, if you haven't, go on ahead and vote. But so far, so the question that I asked you guys was, how do you feel about Trump winning the U.S. elections? And basically 19% are happy, hopeful, and optimistic, even though he won. And 52% right now are sad, scared, and pessimistic. And some, 20% indifferent, doesn't matter to you, and 11% other. But, to me, the startling kind of, thing there is the fact that 52% of the audience, of you guys out there, are very sad, scared, and pessimistic. And, that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're not talking about the U.S., talking about Mexico. Okay, so for those of you guys out there, no matter how you feel, whether you're happy and jubilant or sad and pessimistic, I'm just going to be talking about the truth. Again, that's why I told you guys earlier, I'm not affiliated with any team. I'm just Team USA. That's it. Okay, I don't care about the left, the right, the up, the down, the none of that. All right, but there's a lot of things that have already happened, and they're going to continue to happen. And again, you know what I mean? We need to talk about this. It's very important because, just to dispel a lot of myths, we're just going to be talking about facts. All right. So fact number one, Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, has already called and congratulated President Trump on winning the election. Back when Biden got picked, when he got selected, when he got elected to be president, it took a long time for AMLO, the president of Mexico, to call and congratulate him. In fact, he was one of the last ones to call and congratulate him. But again, because a lot of people are wondering what will the relationship between Mexico's president, Claudia Sheinbaum, a leftist woman president, what's her relationship going to be with Trump? That's conservative right. And right off the bat, you already saw, she made a phone call. They had a very cordial conversation. She speaks English, by the way, so they spoke in English, I'm sure. Then it was because I actually saw it on Facebook today. On the Mexican Facebook or whatever. That she called, congratulated him, had a talk, happy, yada yada yada. Okay, and we're going to be talking about kind of like what the situation with all that is. All right, because again, a lot of people are very concerned, that Trump, is going to do a lot of horrible things, to Mexico, and no, it couldn't be any further from the truth. In fact, a lot of people thought that when Biden got elected, that it was going to be a very horrible relationship, and again, it couldn't be any further from the truth either, because even though it got off to a very rocky start, Mexico, when Biden got elected, eventually, a few months down the line, about a year down the line, everything was hunky-dory. And they even interviewed the Mexican president. And he said, yeah, we got a great relationship with, the Biden administration. And, just like they had a great relationship with the Trump administration the first time around. So this time around, you can already see they're on the same page. They're already getting along. Not just that, but let's just get right into, one of the most polarizing topics in both countries right now, the USA and Mexico, and that is immigration, okay? And again, I'm just telling you, again, the facts and what's going on in Mexico, okay? That's what this channel is about, all right? So in Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum has already, all right? She's already deporting, okay? Immigrants. Again, not people like you and me. No. Okay? None of us. We're safe. We're good. Talking about all those migrants that are coming in those caravans, from Venezuela, from Cuba, from Haiti, from China, from India, from Timbuktu. It doesn't matter. All right? All these people. But basically a lot of them from Latin America, a lot of them like Venezuelans, all right? And Cubans and Haitians and stuff like that. That are making their way through, but basically more than anything else, the Venezuelans. Now there's other Latin American countries, but look, long story short, Mexico, okay? They were, providing a lot of amnesty for a long time to these immigrants, okay? Coming through Mexico, going to the USA, all right? Now, we got to go back in time real quick, all right? And remember where we're at. When Trump was president, back when he was the president. Hold on a second. I'm going to fix something here. Anyways, back when he was president. Okay, there we go. All right, back when he was the president, there was no caravans of to the point of what's going on during the Biden administration. Okay, so it's these caravans have affected Mexico a lot, and so there was no problem with the whole immigration situation and the caravans and any of that during Trump's administration. That's why they got along. There wasn't really much to worry about there. But once Biden got into presidency, and the whole thing flipped, and there was a bunch of migrant caravans now making their way through Latin America and through Mexico into the United States of America. Well, now it was a problem. Because as they were making their way through Mexico, remember, Mexico's a big country. So imagine that there's a migrant caravan, going from Georgia to California. That's pretty crazy, right? And they're just kind of, a trail of trash and a trail of humanity all along the way. All right. And many Mexicans did not appreciate this because a lot of these immigrants that are coming from these war-torn countries or countries that are, suffering economic downturns or political situation, whatever it is, they, especially the ones that are coming from communist countries, they're used to a different, way of life. So as they were coming through Mexico, all right, and they're expecting handouts left and right because they come from communist countries, and Mexico's the complete opposite of that. Well, you know what I mean? They started fighting. The Mexican people with these immigrants started fighting because These people were demanding and wanting certain things, and Mexico's like, no, who are you? What are you doing? What are you even doing here? So, and again, I don't want to get too detailed on that, but long story short, there's been a lot of strife with that. Now, that was just like the most current situation. The first, rounds of these immigrants, it wasn't really that big of a problem. In fact, it wasn't a problem, again, I think during Trump's administration, when, these migrant caravans were coming since even before Trump. But anyways, when he was president, he put a stop to that. And then those migrants were stuck on the U.S.-Mexico border. And because Mexico's a very giving and nice country, just like the U.S., right? They were giving amnesty. They were giving, homes, makeshift homes. They were providing jobs for some of these people. They were giving food to all these people. They were giving all kinds of humanitarian help to these people stuck on the border. Then Biden came along, opened that up, and then basically, they all just spilled into the USA. Mexico didn't have to worry about that no more. But as they've been closing the border again, and they're definitely going to be closing the U.S.-Mexico border now, to all this stuff. Mexico already knows that all these migrants are going to get stuck on the Mexico side of the Mexico-U.S. border. So Mexico is like, no. We're not going to go through this again. We already got tons of, just like in the U.S., there's tons of migrant situations all over the country. There's the same thing in Mexico. Not to the severity as the U.S., but there's many pockets of these migrant situations, same as in the U.S., happening in Mexico. And Mexico, since Claudia got into presidency in October 1st, I believe a month ago, she has been deporting these people en masse. So you know how in the U.S., when they were crossing into Texas, they're putting them on buses and taking them to another place? Okay, well, in Mexico, they're doing the other thing, the opposite. Now they're going to these migrant camps, putting them on buses or on planes, and taking them back to the Guatemala border. In fact, even though the U.S. and Venezuela don't get along and they have a lot of, political strife, where the U.S. is putting a lot of sanctions on Venezuela, yada, 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 Mexico is helping Venezuela and Cuba, whatever, but they're helping those countries, with aid, foreign aid, just like the U.S. provides foreign aid for other countries. So with that said, Claudia got on the phone with the president of Venezuela and Cuba, and they basically said, hey, listen, I know you said that you're not taking back any immigrants, but, we got like 15 planes full of immigrants going back to your country, and they're landing there, and they're getting off, and they're going back to Venezuelan prison or Cuban prison or wherever the hell they came from, but they're not staying in Mexico. And if you don't comply, then you're not getting any more help from us. And if you're not getting help from us, you're not getting help from anybody. So what are we doing? And Venezuela and Cuba and other countries have had no choice but to take a lot of these criminals and a lot of these bad people back. And they're in the process of all this. Again, it's only a month. All right. So now that Trump has been elected, selected, picked, whatever, we already know what he's going to do, with the border. And so as soon as he gets, put into place, the border is going to be closed, from immigration going into the USA. And Mexico wants to get rid of anyone, all right, that is, again, in these caravans or in these situations that are just looking to go to the USA. Now, there's some immigrants that were at one time being welcomed to stay in Mexico. It's like, hey, you don't have to go to the USA. You can stay here in Mexico. But at this point, it seems that the Mexican people they're upset, and seems like a lot of these immigrants have overstayed their welcome, and so now most of Mexico is like, yeah, just deport them all. You know what I mean? Like, sure, they'll accept certain immigrants, and there's still immigrants coming in left and right, but they're not as accepting to a lot of these low-level, low-income, whatever situation immigrants. Okay, because of everything that's happened in the last several years. Okay, but what does that mean for you? Well, you're a high value immigrant. You're not a low value immigrant, so you're going to be accepted. Okay, because they want your dollars. They want your influence. They want your everything. Now, whether or not you can afford living in Mexico, as Mexico keeps growing and getting more awesome, that's another story for another day. We're not going to talk about that right now. Well, we might touch on that in a second. I got some notes here. But I just wanted to touch on the immigration situation because that's like a big thing. And a lot of people are worried. So, for example, right now in the USA, Trump said that he's going to deport a lot of illegal immigrants. Well, guess what? You know what I mean? He's not deporting them to Mexico. He's deporting them back to their countries. Okay? And that's the thing. You know, these are conversations that Claudia Sheinbaum and Trump have already had, you know, about these situations. You know, they've tried to have with the last administration, but it wasn't really flowing too much. But they're definitely, you know, having them already with Trump. And meaning, it's like, listen, I know you don't want drugs and you don't want all these bad things in the USA. Listen, we don't want guns. You know, we don't want, you know, the cartels to get stronger. You know what I mean? So, you know, we got to work something out there. You know, same thing with the immigrants. You know, we don't want to clean up your mess. You know, so we got to fix this. And so, you know, a lot of things are kind of happening in that sense already. And so, you know, that's just the reality of it. So let me read a few comments real quick. And let me go back to the poll that I took with you guys earlier and see where you're at. ES Caliber says, Jose, I am not happy he won, but it doesn't matter because Mexico is going to be my new home. Awesome. There you go. That's the right attitude. There you go. Viva Mexico. That's right. Dead Demons. Why is the Monumental Group program lunch? I don't know what that is. Okay. So glad we moved to Mexico 2 years ago. Awesome, James. Yeah, same as me. Look, again, you know, you already know my opinions. You're going to see more of them. I'm going to hear more of them, but I'm very happy because it doesn't matter what direction the U.S. goes into right now, whether it improves or gets worse. I don't want to be there because even if it improves, you know what I mean? It's not going to be easy. You know, for example, like I always give the analogy. You know, right now, you know, you're overweight and you want to improve and have a better body. And well, the first time, you know, the first few days at the gym and the first few weeks, you know, of eating healthy and trying, it's going to suck. But eventually, it's going to be awesome. Okay, so it's the same thing. So even if things are going to get better in the USA, listen, it's not going to be tomorrow. And it's not going to be easy. And there's still going to be, you know, hard work coming along. All right, so regardless, okay, it's going to take a while. And if it's going to get worse, it's going to get worse. So either way, I don't want to be there right now. Mexico, on the other hand, they've already, you know, they're still dealing with things like every country. But Mexico, on the other hand, they've dealt with a lot of things already. In years prior, in decades prior, and right now, you know, they're on the up and up, and they're going in the complete opposite direction. So, yeah, no way. You know what I mean? Again, no way, Jose. You know, at the end of the day, I would rather be here as well. You know what I mean? For many reasons. So, Kim Rose says they are no longer coming here. That's for sure. Okay, I'm an RN. Mary says I'm an RN for remote work. Rent my house out and headed to Mexico. Awesome, Mary. Jim says both Trump and Harris were very poor candidates. I refuse to vote for either one. The U.S. and Mexico need to work together. We don't want a border wall. That is horrible. So, yeah, you know, again, I agree. You know what I mean? They're both terrible. And, you know, but and I agree with you as well. You know what I mean? That both U.S. and Mexico are working together. But look, I'm going to tell you, again, because I follow a lot of Mexican news. Remember, I speak Spanish. I'm really into a lot of this stuff. You know what I mean? A little kind of, sort of. And long story short, you know, U.S. and Mexico are tied at the hip. Forget all the rhetoric you hear, yada, yada, yada. They are very, very working together. They have to. They got no choice. And especially as the U.S., there's more tensions, you know, with, you know, China and other countries and other situations out there. So that's just the reality of it. You know what I mean? Like Mexico needs the USA. USA needs Mexico. I've talked about this in other episodes before, but again, even chip manufacturing has moved to Mexico. Okay, Mexico doesn't just make cars and grow corn, all right, and avocados for your avocado toast. All right, they're making computer chips. All right, in fact, Nvidia, which is one of the biggest computer chip makers in the world, if not the biggest, and it's an American company, they are building, okay, the biggest chip manufacturing plant thing, whatever, on the planet in Mexico, in Guadalajara. All right. So just FYI, plus there's so much more going on. But just to give you a little, you know, taste. Okay. So no, the reality is that, yeah, they're going to get work. They're going to work. They have to work together. And just from what happened with Trump. Remember, Trump's a business guy. Like him, hate him, whatever. He's a business guy and he works well with others. I don't care. You know what you hear, you know, on the whatever out there. The facts are the facts, okay? And he works very well, and he works very well with Mexico. And Claudia Sheinbaum, she speaks English. They're both on the same page, when it comes to sovereignty of their own countries, and so much things like that, okay? So they're definitely working together. Are you kidding me? Again, the fact, just going back to like when they were saying that Trump doesn't work with strong women, with all the strong women around him. Look, he's going to have to work with, one of the strongest women on earth right now, which is the president of Mexico. And, so, and she already called him, to say what's up. Anyway, so, all right. So, again, we already touched on the immigration situation. So, look, I'm right now, if you ask the typical Mexican, what they really think, again, Mexican in Mexico. You ask a Mexican in Mexico what they think about Trump. Yeah, they love Trump. They're happy with Trump. In fact, they're happy with Claudia because they were begging Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, they were begging her to do what Trump was promising to do with the immigration situation. And she's doing it. She's going above and beyond what I thought, was even capable, all right, of her being able to do. But it's happening. And we already know Trump's going to be doing something similar. And again, I got many opinions on all that. Again, I'll share them if you're interested, okay, later on today on Jose Unleashed. So remember, every single Thursday, I do a live stream on this channel. And then once I do a live stream here, take a little 30-minute break, and then we go over there and we talk about all kinds of things. All right. I tell stories, we have fun. But obviously, we got something to talk about here. So join me over there if you're really interested in what I really have to say. If you dare, right? If you got the stomach for it. I know some of you guys do, some of you guys don't. But anyways, all right. What was I going to say? Where were we? Back to, okay. So just on the immigration issue alone, Mexicans, for the most part, most Mexicans are very happy with Trump as president. Okay. So let's just, keep it, that's just one item. All right. Luis in the chat says, Luis says, I was born and raised in Mexico and currently live in the U.S., have both citizenship, so I enjoy both countries. Please, awesome. Uncle Jam says, Trump tax plans will drive down the value of the dollar. Will that affect you? I don't listen. I don't listen to any of those economists in this and that and the tax. People get all that weird, twisted and whatever. Look, I live here. I've been living here for years. Okay. I function in the Mexican economy. I have nothing to do with the U.S. economy. Sure, I get paid in dollars mostly, and sure, the exchange rate affects me. But the reality is that when you live in a foreign country, okay, whether you're a foreigner or you're just the person in the country, Mexican in Mexico, whatever it is, the exchange rate is always going to be affecting you. So that's one of the things that most people don't know about living abroad, is that the exchange rate affects you, and there's many things, okay? Many variables and factors that go into the value, the valuation of the dollar, the peso, the whatever, okay? And again, I can talk more about that on the other channel, but look, long story short, the way I see it, and I've said it before multiple times on this channel, I feel that, I'm not talking about any other currency on earth. We're just talking about Mexican peso and dollar. I want to get that straight because I can't speak for any other country. But when it comes to Mexico, in my heart of hearts and my soul, I feel like the peso is going to go lower, meaning the peso is going to get stronger, meaning you're going to get less pesos for your dollar. So remember 6 months ago when it was 16 to 1, 15 to 1, 15 pesos, 16 pesos to 1. Yeah, we're going to be heading in that direction again. Okay, we're going to be going back in that direction. At some point, we're going to hit the top, which I think we might have already, 20, I think it was 2065 yesterday. Long story short, we're going to hit that top and then we're going to start dropping back down again for many reasons. First of all, the Mexican peso is very strong and the US dollar is not that strong. And there's been a lot of manipulation. For anyone that really knows what's going on, again, this is not the channel for this, okay? But long story short, there's a lot of manipulation going on. And a lot of people are taking their revenge on Mexico for electing Claudia and the things that she's doing for Mexico. In fact, again, she's only been president 1 month, and she's already doing a lot of things that a lot of people in power around the world are not happy with. And again, this is not the channel for that per se, but that's happening. She's already the debt that Mexico has that is owed to the central banks out there. You know, whether you believe that they control the world or not doesn't matter. They do have power, a lot of power, and the more debt you have to those banks, well, the less power you have as a country. So again, part of what Claudia has already done is that she's made very heavy payments of billions of dollars to those debts to bring down the national debt, to bring down the Mexican national debt even further down. So that's another reason why Mexico's currency and the country is so strong, because it has so little debt, and it has continued to be paying off the debt that every country has, but this country has very little debt. And during COVID and during other scenarios in the past, where every country on earth, for the most part, was taking on extremes amount of debt, Mexico was not taking any debt. Mexico was giving the middle finger to the central banks and not taking any debt at all. Thus, continuing to make the currency stronger. And like I said, there's many variables here, but don't get tricked into believing. Again, I could be wrong, and for your sake out there in the audience, I hope, that it stays, goes up, meaning that the peso gets weaker and the dollar gets stronger in relevance, so that way, you get more bang for your buck. But the reality is that, in my estimation, at some point, we don't know when, but at some point soon, it's going to start dipping down again, because what's going on right now, where it went, as soon as Claudia got elected, it started to go up, aka the Mexican peso losing value and the dollar gaining value. But the dollar has gained no value. The dollar loses value every single day, period, end of story. The Mexican peso, on the other hand, has been gaining tons of value, and thus getting stronger, and thus you getting less pesos for every dollar, thus things getting more expensive. Anyways, with that being said, the reality is that all the same things that were going on, okay, that made the peso so strong, haven't stopped. So why has the peso lost so much value? Like I said, it's because there's a lot of manipulation. There's a lot of people that control markets and control other factors out there, and they've been able to manipulate the currency to the point. Again, the currency is so strong that they've only been able to manipulate it a little bit. Okay, in my estimation, again, this is just my theories on all this stuff. Okay, you guys can do your own research, right? You guys can figure it out. But long story short, I feel Mexico's going to keep getting stronger. Everything is pointing to getting stronger. Now with Trump as president, even stronger. And then with everything, all the funny business going on in the USA with the dropping the rates and, printing of money and yada, 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 is only going to exacerbate that. And as Mexico's president, which is very financially sound, she is, very smart lady, all right, very educated, and long story short, like her intention is to, again, have that debt as low as possible to have more power, on the world stage, in the sense of, not having other countries tell them what to do. Mexico just wants to be left alone and not have anyone tell them how to run Mexico. And so the stronger Mexico becomes, the less likely another country, even the U.S., can have influence over Mexico. All right? And that's why Mexico has been able to grow so much, in recent years, simply because the USA is getting weaker and Mexico is getting economically stronger. And it's getting stronger in other senses. And so because of that, now they have more power in that relationship, where for the longest time, for decades, the Mexico has been subservient to the USA. Not because they wanted to, because they had no choice. And the last president and this president is, basically, they keep pushing out that rhetoric that we love the USA, but we are not the backyard of the USA. We are not their trash can. We're not none of that. Okay, so things are changing dramatically, and that's it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's a very important factor as well. You know what I mean? And so with this president that's not trying to push any agenda, they're just trying to do business, right? I mean, that's what Trump is, business guy, right? It's perfect because, Claudia is all about the business too. She's not trying to push no agenda and vice versa. That's it. Mexico be Mexico, USA be USA. That's it. That's it. And so they're both on the same page there. All right. So I think that that's going to work out great. All right. Now, we talked about, the relationship between both countries is already starting off to a great start, and it's going to continue to do so. We already talked about the immigration situation. Now, another reason why I think, Trump is going to, be a great, well, how do I say it? It's going to be a good situation, his cabinet, his people with Mexico is because Mexico, okay, they have been pushing very hard against big agriculture, big pharma, okay? They have been pushing back a lot against, the fact that, the GMO corn and the GMO seed stuff and all that stuff. So Mexico's been pushing back again. It's been pushing back against that very hard. They've done a lot of legislation, pushing back against a lot of these big companies and big corporations, and you already know. And the USA, has a lot of influence here, and you already know the USA. These corporations have lobbyists that influence the USA government to basically try to force Mexico to, do these things that they don't want to do. Okay? And so now that we got Trump in there and RFK, right? Robert Kennedy Jr., right? Robert F. Kennedy Jr., that was a Democrat, a lefty, a liberal, he is very big on pushing back against those as well. So RFK is going to work very well, okay, with the Mexican president. Because the Mexican president is also a scientist, okay? And so they're aligned on a lot of similar thoughts when it comes to that. So now that Mexico is, Mexico's been pushing back against the GMOs and all this stuff for a while. Well, now we've got somebody in office, that's already said that that's what they want to do. Again, that's why RFK joined Trump in order to go after, these corporations, these megalithic, things, again, big pharma, big agriculture, and so on and so forth. So, right now Mexico's fighting them off, and so now they're going to have some help. Okay. So that's another big thing a lot of people don't talk about, don't know, don't even, they're not even thinking about. So for a lot of people out there that want to move to Mexico for a better, higher quality of life, we were teetery-tottering on whether we were going to be able to keep that or not, because simply, again, these big forces out there were, trying to influence the Mexican government to basically, do what they do in the USA when it comes to food. And when it comes to medicine, and when it comes to things like that. And Mexico's like, no way, Jose, we're not going to do that here. So now they got backup, okay? And I think that's going to be great. And in fact, maybe, the Mexico and the U.S. can work together, on trying to fix the USA's food problem, meaning, why is the food so unhealthy in the USA? What is Mexico doing? What are other countries doing that we're not doing? Why is their food healthier? Why is the quality of life better over there, and so on and so forth? It's not about changing the culture, just putting, giving the people what they want. The people in the USA want real food again, not fake food. And so that's all part of that as well. So we got that, okay? So that's like a big, big thing right now, I think. Again, Tulsi Gabbard, she's also a Democrat, a liberal, okay? And she's on Trump, on Trump's side, Trump's cabinet, Trump's whatever. That's a strong woman, you don't think she's going to work very well, with Claudia? Of course, you know what I mean? And so, again, just going back to what the relationship has been, before, and again, what are the alignments of what the president of Mexico wants to do and what the president of the USA has promised to do or has done. They seem to keep aligning Okay, it's even though again the Mexican president is left, right, very liberal. Why, it seems like they're more aligned with the conservative right wing president that is Trump than they would have been with. Okay, because again, if Kamala Harris, would have been elected, they would, again, she's very pro big pharma, pro big agriculture, so that fight would have continued between both countries. She's pro immigration, so that fight would have continued between both countries. That situation would have continued. So, and I could go on and on, but let's move on to the next thing. There's another thing. So again, we know that Mexico has a cartel problem, okay? And especially these days where in certain areas there's cartel wars going on. And again, a lot of it has to do because, the USA and Mexico have been working together. Again, classified, not really known, but known. But look, long story short, depending on what military channel on YouTube you're watching out there, or what papers you're reading, or whatever it is, long story short, whether it's confirmed or not, we already know because of the past history of decades and decades of the U.S. doing this, that again, very recently, with a lot of the things that have been going on in Mexico when it comes to capturing, the heads of the cartels, and kind of like, starting to break them down. A lot of it had to do with the USA, the CIA, whatever, that, they've been working together, so, and all that stuff. So anyways, yeah, sorry, I got a little distracted for a second there. But yeah, so they've been, the CIA agent in the window. No, but long story short, they've been working together to crack down on a lot of this stuff. And, I'm not the guy to speak on this stuff because I'm not, the military guy or anything. But I do know, that they have been working together to, trying to control this situation that is affecting both sides. It's affecting everybody. So, anyway, all right, let me see. Let me read some comments here, see what you guys have to say. Shout out to everyone out there in the chat. Broski Bear says Mexico isn't a safe place to live. Yeah, you should not live here. If you think it's dangerous, you shouldn't. Don't feel compelled to live here. Thank you for joining the conversation, though. I appreciate that. Jose, I'm not sure what you've been smoking, but I'm assuming it's crack. Yeah, sure. Yes. Anyways, I see she has a doctor's degree in engineering. Yes, Claudia's an engineer. Mexico, Lalo says Mexico just doesn't want the DEA, CIA, and FBI working alone in Mexico. Imagine if Mexico did the same in the U.S. No, yeah, of course. No country wants that. That's the situation, where depending on the president of the USA, well, depends on, how they want to influence. How do they want to infiltrate the other country? And depending on the president of Mexico. So right now, Mexico's like, hey, listen, we got our own guys, meaning our own army and our own soldiers and our own everything to combat this. But we do know you're out here. So can you provide some information? Can you provide this? Can you provide that? Things like that. So they're working together on certain things, but they're not allowing, CIA or U.S. soldiers or anything like that on land, on Mexico's soil that has been confirmed or not confirmed. But long story short, yeah. Miguel says, do you think the Mexican peso will stay at 20 for the next few years? No, I do not. Maybe the next 6 months, tops. Maybe the next year, So, Isaac says, exactly, it's not just Trump now. It's a team of collective effort. Correct. So, and that's the thing, to me, it doesn't matter what, how you really feel about the situation. You got to remember that, or you got to at least acknowledge the fact that, a lot of people, that are now on the Trump team are a lot of people that have left the Democratic Party, that have left the left. And so, again, I mean, imagine if Tulsi Gabbard, would have been, the person that would have gone against Trump. Again, remember, Tulsi was a Democrat. So imagine if Tulsi Gabbard would have been picked instead of Kamala Harris. Tulsi might have, destroyed Trump. You follow me? Same as RFK. RFK was also a Democrat, and, of course, you don't think that he would have done good. And so I could go on and on. So, again, this is not a political show. But all I'm saying is that, Trump, like the businessman that he is, he surrounds himself with the best of the best. And, well, that's what he's doing. In fact, he's learned a lot, I guess, from, the first time around that didn't go that as well or as planned as he thought. But, again, now things are different. Most of his people on the team are people that are, are people that are former Democrats, former people on the left, and so on and so forth. So, and that's it. That's the whole thing. In my opinion, that's what I think. I think the fact that right now it's going to be more collective effort. At least with Trump, and so therefore they're going to work well with Mexico because the USA, again, just going back to the Trump motto, right? USA's motto, Trump's motto is "Make America Great Again." So they're concentrating on making America great again. Great, wonderful. Guess what? Mexico's motto with the new president and the old president, make Mexico great again. Okay? So they're on the same page, right off the bat. And what do they mean by that? Well, again, they really mean we're going to concentrate on our own country more, and foremost. Okay? So when it comes to, Mexico, and it comes to immigration, basically, it's like, hey, if you're a low-value immigrant, we're probably not going to want you here. If you're a high-level immigrant, we're going to want you here. So, similar to what's happening in the USA. All right? When it comes to, going against big pharma, big agriculture, and big corporations, well, again, it seems like they're both on the same page. When it comes to working together, on crime, when it comes to working together, on immigration, when it comes to working together on so many other things, it seems like they're on the same page. So, that's really kind of like, all I have to say is the fact that, I really do think, I got more to say. I always got more to say. But the fact that, both are going to work together very well. Okay, let me go to the poll real quick because I took a poll earlier. We got 157 votes. All right, and if you haven't voted, please vote. And I asked you guys, how do you feel about Trump winning the U.S. election? And 44% are very happy, hopeful, and optimistic. 32% are sad, scared, and pessimistic. And by the way, for those of you guys that are sad, scared, and pessimistic, I would like to know if you would like to share with us why are you so sad, why are you so scared, more importantly, why are you so scared, and why are you pessimistic? And then 12% indifferent, 12% other, so 24% don't care. So 45% are voted for Trump, 31% not happy, 24% don't give a crap. all right, let me see. Yes, I'm living in Mexico and it's very dangerous out here. Don't come. All right. Dill says, you really can't find anything to talk about. Mexico, get your crap together soon so Mexicans stop leaving. Okay. So, this election has been very polarizing and it's still going to be extremely polarizing. And, oh, my God, in the last couple days, since, the elections were Tuesday, wow. Like so many new followers, so many new emails, comments, all kinds of things, and it's been very interesting, positive, negative, oh man, just interesting. So yeah. Adrian De La Torre says, Mexico's future is looking very bright. Correct. Claudia isn't worried at all about Trump won. Correct. She stated that we'll work together. We should all be good. Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I'm not, nobody's really worried, honestly. So, in fact, the outcome that most people wanted was Trump in Mexico. All right, if they supported Claudia, anyone that supported Claudia, which is the majority of Mexico, definitely, wanted Trump to win. So, let me see. Carl says, just came back from Merida. There was a few who favored Trump. Jose, I was trying to contact you. Okay, well, sorry you missed me. Dr. AJ says, CIA are here and have been for years. Correct. They're everywhere. That's right. They're listening right now. They're in the audience. No, seriously, they are. They're literally everywhere, right? Shout out to them. Shout out to the CIA.
Bruh.
I have seen many years as a military physician. CIA doesn't always ask permission. Oh yeah, exactly. That's what the CIA does. They're an unofficial arm of the military. Because again, if the U.S. uses the military to do a lot of the things that they do, I mean, we'd be breaking all kinds of international laws and things, that we signed and made everybody else sign. So we send the CIA to do our dirty work, and well, it's not the military, so they're not really, doing anything. Right here, it's according to the. Anyways, so yeah, no, I'm fully aware. Like I said, you know what I mean. You guys should check out, Jose Unleashed again. Once I'm done here. All right, I'm going to go live over there. Again, if you like this content, you like my channel, you enjoy everything I have to say here and all that stuff, please go join me over there. I'm putting the link to the live stream that's going to happen real soon over there. So it'd be nice if you guys, join me. But anyways, if you enjoy this content, again, if you have already liked and subscribed, awesome. Go like and subscribe over there. That would be even more awesome. I would really love you if you go over there and go subscribe. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're almost monetized, by the way. So, all right, And what that means is that, YouTube will push the channel even further. I'm not worried about making 15 cents over there. Look, the point is that, again, you already know. I don't support anybody. I'm not on team anything, all right? And I'm just Team America, Team Mexico, Team Jose, Team you guys, all right? That's it, all right? So anyways, with that said, if you want to laugh a little bit and you want to have some fun, go join me over there. And we'll see you there later. But we're still going to finish here. We still got more to talk about here. Oh, let me see. So shout out to everyone out there. Let me see. Need to listen to some music here while we read some chats. Oh, and by the way, if you are in the USA, all right, and you are one of those people that are saying, "Oh, I'm gonna leave because, Trump got elected, or Kamala got elected, or Kermit the Frog got elected." Listen, we don't want you here, all right? You're going to be miserable here too, all right? I'm telling you right now. If that's what you're basing your, move on, you're going to be miserable no matter where you go, all right? Just FYI. Just keep that in mind, all right? So, make sure you know why you're moving to Mexico or any country. I've talked about it many times on the channel. Again, if you're moving for monetary reasons only, if you're moving because of the dumb election, things like that, it's probably not going to end well for you. So, but if you're moving to Mexico because you want a better quality of life, or you want a different kind of life, or you want to, again, you enjoy tacos more than you enjoy sloppy joes, well then, yeah, you'll love Mexico. You know what I mean? Like, come to Mexico. Why not? You know what I mean? Like, for me, best thing that's happened to me, has been moving to Mexico. I've loved it out here ever since I've got here. And but that's just my own personal experience. It's not everybody's experience, and so I like to make sure that people know that. Again, I have people that leave negative comments in the chat in some of my videos, and I don't delete them unless they do something really bad. Kind of trying to keep it family friendly as much as possible. But look, I let everybody talk and say whatever they want, but many times they get upset watching my videos and they decide on moving to another country. Hey, 1 second, guys. There's some rain happening out there. I got some clothes I got to get from. In 1 second. All right, hold on. Let me play a little music here. Oh no. 1 second, guys. Sorry. I'm back. Yeah, my apologies. You know, again, living out here in the tropics, you know, the rain just comes and goes. And, you know, right now it's just raining really hard. I was really more concerned about I had the back door open because I got Gizmo. You know, he likes to hang out outside in the backyard. And so I just wanted to make sure I had that closed. I didn't want to get the whole kitchen soaking wet. So my apologies there for a second. But yeah, you know, as I was saying, you know, just make sure you know what the right reason for moving to Mexico is. All right. And, you know, don't move to Mexico just because of, you know, a dumb reason, because you're going to regret it. All right. So let me see. Let me read some comments here. Hope all is well. Shout out to everyone out there in the chat. Let me see. That's right. Mexico's awesome. Living in Mexico is great. So yeah, that's another thing too that I, you know, enjoy about living in Mexico is that as this, by the way, I am so happy and so glad that the election is finally over. Jeez, right? Aren't we happy? Aren't we all happy that the elections are finally over? Wow, that was terrible. I really didn't, again, I was already at the point I really didn't care who won. I just wanted it to be over. So thank God it's over. But with that said, you know, I always felt very lucky, you know, being out here in Mexico, that I didn't have to really deal with the insanity of what was going on in the USA. It still affected me here a little bit because, you know, I did make a few episodes, whether it was on this channel or on Unleashed, and talking about, you know, just the elections or what's going on or whatever it is. And oh my God, people were just losing their minds. It didn't matter what the hell I talked about. So I was like, all right, no. I'm not even, you know, I'm removed from that anyway. Why am I jumping into the lava pool for no reason? So, yeah, you know what I mean? And so, and then the people out here, a lot of the expats, you know, that lived out here, didn't matter what they believed in, they just could not stop. They could not stop talking about it. So, you know, my close friends, really, we never talk about this stuff, okay? We don't care. Very loosely, you know, we talk about it, you know, the political climate, whatever's going on in the USA, but we really don't care. You know, we're talking about other things. We're living life. And so, but yeah, so like outside of my close friends, you know what I mean, in which, you know, I didn't really have to bring this topic up very rarely, or we were on the same page at least, you know what I mean, as to we both agreed and, you know, believe in the same thing, and meaning we don't believe in the system at all, but hey, that's another thing, you know, for another day. But yeah, long story short, yeah, no, it was very hard to talk to any American or you know, anyone at all, you know what I mean, about anything, because it was always coming back around to that. It didn't matter what it was, you know, to politics. And it's like, geez, man. So I'm so glad it's finally over. Miguel says, everyone seems to go for identity and personality. What matters most is policy. Yes, Trump has no filter and it's funny, but thought his policies were horrible. Harris has better policies. All right, well, again, everybody has an opinion. And, you know, to me, it doesn't really matter. You know, one of the things that I'm happy about is, at least me personally, again, is that, again, I'm not about any of that woke stuff. You know what I mean? I was always very liberal. You know, my wife is liberal, where we live in a very liberal country, very liberal out here. But, you know, I'm in the USA, I would be considered conservative, you know, by today's liberal standards, because I'm not, you know, happy with any of that stuff. And so, you know, for me, you know, that is one of the reasons I'm happy. You know what I mean? That, you know, at least Trump kind of won. They won because, you know, a lot of that is not important anymore. Again, I don't care what you want to be or what you want to call yourself. Again, I got a guy that thinks he's a horse over here. So whatever, you know what I mean? I think I'm a genius, right? Or, you know, no, but the point is that, you know, it really doesn't matter to me, any of those things. Again, I'm very liberal. But what matters to me is, you know, the fact that it's gone way off the deep end. And it's just like, yeah, that doesn't, you know, that's no bueno. You know, we need to concentrate on getting people off the streets. We need to concentrate on building a bridge. We need to concentrate on, I don't know, getting a job. You know, there's a lot of other things that are way more important. And I think a lot of Americans felt the same way. And again, just going back to like the whole Trump situation, you know, surrounding himself with a lot of people, you know, that were on the left already, that were ostracized, that were pushed out of the Democratic Party because they didn't have the, you know, the same ideology alignment. Well, Trump basically befriended them, all of them, and well, that's why most people voted for Trump in a landslide, because at least he represents the people a lot more. Forget the policy per se at the moment. It's just, so many situations when it comes to that. So, for me, again, it didn't matter. I live in Mexico. You know what I mean? I care more about Claudia Sheinbaum, really, to tell you the truth, than I do about Trump or Harris, because I don't live in the USA. It doesn't affect me, in that sense. So, but yeah, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it is what it is. Right now, the facts are the facts. And, just going by that, the USA right now with Trump is going to work a lot easier and better. It's going to be a lot more of an amicable relationship with Mexico. Again, knock on wood. I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody ever knows anything. But just going by, what's already on the table, what we have already known, what has gone on in the past, and I could go on and on and on. Everything I've discussed in the last hour. So that's the reality of it right now. So, and for me, I remember when Trump first got elected, and the 4 years after that, and how everybody was just, losing their minds. And this time around, it doesn't feel that way. Yeah, there's a few people losing their minds. Whatever, it's fine. If Harris would have won, there would have been people losing their minds as well. But the point is that it's nothing like it was in the past. And I think a lot of it has to do because the American people have had enough. They've had enough. They've had enough of all this experiment. They've had enough of all this. It's time to get back to work. It's time to get back to work. You know what I mean? It's time to get, the ship straight. Like it or not. It's never, like I said, like losing weight or doing anything, very difficult. It's hard. It's difficult. It's going to take a lot of hard work. And, the USA needs to get back to work. It's as simple as that. And, whether or not, and again, get back to work, meaning that, if this is a good president and he starts to fix things, great. But if he doesn't, well, then people got to get to work to make sure that they can fix things for the next election and not, create a shit show like they have in these last two elections. It's as simple as that. One way or the other, it's going to force everybody to get to work. It doesn't matter if you love or hate Trump. Okay? And a lot of people got to do a lot of, introspective, look in the mirror type of stuff, and take responsibility for a lot of their own actions. And I think that's going to help people as well. And again, this president's going to force that, like it or not. So again, I discussed this before. Where basically on my other channel, where basically the election was you're either voting for Mamala or Dad. Daddy Trump or Mamala. And everybody, in a landslide voted for Dad. And, Dad is the guy that's like, hey, we got to get to work. I don't want no crying in baseball. You got to do this, do that. Like it or not. And instead of Mom, okay? Which is like, you already know. So, and that's it. And so, look, because even right now with the Mexican president, she's like Dad. She's not Mom. The Mexican president right now is not soft and caring or anything. Even though she's a woman and she's a mom and all these other things, But she's a strong woman. Like a Hillary strong woman, And so she ain't taking no crap. So, yeah, so that's the thing. And so Mexico has a strong armed conservative president, even though she's lefty. Same thing as same thing as in the USA. Remember, Trump used to be Democrat. Half of the people he's working with are Democrat or former lefties, and and we still have a lot of liberal values. Of the old liberal values, right? Of live and let live, do what you want. For what is it? Give the middle finger to the corporations, give the middle finger to the big government. I don't know. That's when I was raised as a young liberal dumbass. That's what I thought. I don't know what happened with all that. But anyways, hopefully this will start bringing things back to, towards the middle where they need to be. And just like things are happening in Mexico. Mexico is a very liberal country since its inception, and for the last 80 years it has been run by conservatives, and so now things are turning around. Just like in the USA. The USA is a pretty conservative country, and they've been run by liberals for about 80 years, give or take, and now, things are changing. They got too liberal, and same as Mexico, got too conservative, and now things are moving the other direction. That's all it is. It's a pendulum that swings back and forth, back and forth. If you read a history book, again, it's not just the pendulum, it's also a cycle, okay? So, and that's it. That's all. So, really, honestly, what does it mean for Mexico that Trump got elected? As of now, it means a lot of wonderful things. Both countries are going to work together. Both countries, even though they have their own personal agendas with their own countries, they are very aligned with each other. A lot of the things that Trump wants to do with a lot of things that Trump wants to do with the USA, okay, are very similar in fashion to a lot of things that Claudia wants to do with Mexico. So obviously they're going to work together, okay, because both presidents want the same thing for each country. They're not going in separate directions, and they're trying to fix a lot of the same problems. Again, remember, they're neighbors. They border each other. And, they got a lot of the same problems, whether it's immigration or drugs or trafficking or whatever it is. There's a lot of problems, and, both countries want to solve them. Again, Trump is all about the law and order, right? So, we're going to see. We're going to see how it all plays out. But as of now, so far so good. I don't know why people I see people keep typing comments and then deleting them. I don't know why you... Hey Jose, are there many Cubans living in Mexico? What is the relationship between Mexico and Cuba these days? It's a complicated relationship. It's always been, but Mexico loves Cuba and vice versa. And some regions have more Cubans than others. Here in the Yucatan where I live, in Merida where I live, there's more Cubans than in most areas. Because this is the background. This is my backyard, which is very similar to Cuba. So, a lot of Cubans like this region for a lot of that. So, but yeah, it's, let me see. I'm glad you guys enjoying the show. I'm glad you guys are enjoying, just everything so far. See, look, T-Baz, there you go. Finally. All right, there we go. T-Baz says, Trump is going to demand things from Mexico. I don't call that working with Mexico. Listen, again, let me, spoiler alert. Every president of the United States of America demands things of Mexico. In fact, they demand things of many countries around the world. And, depending on many factors, like what we were discussing earlier today, will depend on whether or not, the Mexico or the country has to comply. So in the past, Mexico has had to comply with the demands of the USA for many reasons. All right. I'm not going to get into all that. Okay. But I've talked about it already. But as of now, as of the last 6 years, again, as of AMLO taking over and now Claudia taking over, that is not the case anymore. And again, we got to remember that the USA has also gotten way weaker in that same time span. So because of that, well, guess what? The USA has been demanding things, okay, for 6+ years, 7 years, and Mexico hasn't really, done anything about it. In fact, certain things that mean a lot to both countries, what AMLO and what Claudia is doing is that they've actually just sat at the table and discussed an amicable thing that's going to work for both of them. Because they both got problems that they're dealing with. And now Mexico's getting so strong that they don't have to take anything from anybody. And now it is in the best interest of the USA to make sure that that relationship stays nice, because the USA needs Mexico a lot. Again, whether it's computer chips or manufacturing or a bunch of other things, okay? Or avocados, it doesn't matter. So, shout out to Genaro Diaz for the $10 super chat. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, long story short, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Trump can demand things from Mexico. Doesn't mean that Mexico has to comply or will comply. And long story short, Trump never demanded anything of Mexico. All right. He asked Mexico, okay, to do a few things, and AMLO didn't do them, believe it or not. So when Trump was president, he asked AMLO, hey, can you secure your southern border? And AMLO's like, no, I can't. But now, you know, this time around, since things have changed, okay, and Claudia's now in power, and now it's in the best interest of Mexico to close the southern border. I mean, she already closed the border. She didn't even need Trump to even ask. She already knew that when he got into power, he was going to close the border no matter what. So you might as well, you know, get a head start. And if they didn't, you know, again, if Harris would have been president, well, Claudia, you know, again, is already kind of putting a stop to the migrant situation. She already said that. She goes, if Harris becomes president and they keep through the caravans, they're going to have to figure out another way to get there because they ain't coming through Mexico. All right. And well, Trump is working with her on that. So, and I can go on and on. But no. There ain't no demanding of anything. That's another thing, too. If Trump or whoever, which we already know Harris and Biden have done because they did a lot of demanding of AMLO. That's why they did not get along at first. It took a while for them to get along because eventually, you know, when Biden kept demanding things, and by the way, they were demanding things as of, you know, like a couple months ago, a couple weeks ago, a couple days ago. Because Mexico is doing a lot of changes, you know, like with the judicial system, for example, and the U.S. is, putting their finger into Mexico and say, hey, you can't be doing that. You can't be passing that legislation. Yeah, and Mexico's like, well, who the hell are you? We're Mexico. We do whatever we want. We're passing some constitution or whatever, blah, blah, blah. This is our thing. You don't have an opinion. You got nothing to say here. Get out of here. In fact, Mexico got so mad that it took power away from some of these American delegates, okay, like Ken Salazar, you know, which was the U.S. Ambassador to Mexico, and I can go on and on. So no. If anyone, Trump or Harris, would have demanded anything or will demand anything, it's just going to sour things very quickly. And what is the U.S. going to do? Invade? They're not. Okay, so I mean, yeah, no. You know, so again, you know, I love people to, you know, bring topics out there. So anyone that's brave enough, you know, to talk about anything out there, let's do it. But yeah, long story short, you know what I mean? Like, no. You know, Trump and Mexico are working together. You know, again, like I said, Claudia Sheinbaum, you know, was, you know, one of the first ones to call Trump and congratulate him. So I don't know what to say. Yeah, exactly. Claudia is strong, just like Trump is strong. That's it. You know what I mean? So look at Claudia, like she's strong like Tulsi Gabbard. Okay? Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, is strong woman like Tulsi Gabbard. Just look at her like that. So Trump works very well with Tulsi. They love each other. It's great. Okay? Same thing. Same thing with Claudia, man. Don't get it twisted. Because again, Trump is all about the USA. USA. Therefore, you know, meaning, hey, our resources are better spent in the USA than trying to influence anybody else. And again, you know, Trump isn't about telling other countries what to do. Maybe other regimes have been. So that's another reason why Mexico loves Trump, because, you know, they're not going to worry about any of that, because they remember what 4 years ago looked like. Okay? The USA might have forgotten, but most Mexicans still remember, you know, what it was to have Trump as president. So, FYI, guys. So yeah, again, just to reiterate, I am not pro-Trump, pro-Harris. I'm pro-nothing, all right? I'm pro-USA, pro-Mexico, pro-humans. That's it. I like all the humans, the good, the bad, all of them. So, but yeah, see, look, Lalo Lopez, like what you're saying, is that Claudia is sending technical help to Cuba to help with electrical problems. Not only is she sending help to Cuba, she's also sending immigrants to Cuba. You know, a lot of these immigrants that are illegal here and illegally trying to cross into the USA, she's deporting back over there, just like she's deporting about a bunch of Venezuelans to Venezuela. And they already cut a deal with the presidents of these countries in order to take them back, like it or not. Otherwise, they're not going to help them. So again, You see, look, smart. Claudia's smart. So Claudia, is working with these countries, but a lot of it really is just to, hey, take these people back. So, or figure it out. But they're not staying in Mexico. So immigration is a big thing, believe it or not, in Mexico, just like it is in the USA these days. So, will the U.S. annex Mexico? No, they're never going to annex Mexico. Do I have family left in Cuba? Yes. Not many, but yeah, there's some. They're mostly in Miami. Let me see. And let's just go back to the poll. I asked you guys in the audience, and 245 votes later, I asked you guys, how do you feel about Trump winning the elections? And 44% happy, hopeful, optimistic. 31% sad, scared, and pessimistic. And again, I encourage you guys to let me know why. I already know why. Happy, hopeful, and optimistic. You guys, you guys haven't shut up. Congratulations or whatever. But anyways, the ones that are sad, scared, and pessimistic, please let me know why. I want to know. I'm curious. All right. And then 26% indifferent and other. All right. So yeah, no, a lot of people just don't know what the truth is, and I try to let you guys know what the truth is, whether you want to accept it or not, whether you want to listen to me or not. This is why I have a fake horse. Hey, I'm not fake, I can talk. Anyways, I got a talking horse here, like Mr. Ed. Mr. Ed. Anyways, I got a rude horse. Hey, I voted for Trump. I'm going to deport your ass. Jeez. All right, look at this guy. Now he voted for Trump. Oh, my God. All right. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Anyways, look, the point I'm making is that I forgot what point I was making. I don't know what I was saying. I distracted myself with my fake horse. Oh, yeah. Take everything I'm saying here with a grain of salt. But you can do your own research and you can corroborate, a lot of the things I'm saying with the information that's already out there. It would help you, obviously, if you spoke Spanish and you can see what's happening in Spanish, Spanish news, and see, how the relationship between both countries is and what they really think about Trump and so on and so forth, and what they thought about Harris and all that good stuff. So at the end of the day, all I'm doing is just providing that information out for you guys, and it's up to you guys, to make with it what you will. I cannot control what you guys do on your end of things, whether you want to believe it or not, and so on and so forth. But, again, I want to just, encourage everybody out there in the audience that, please, if you're thinking about moving to Mexico just simply because he got elected, or if Harris would have gotten elected, don't do that. Again, don't move out to Mexico just to save a few bucks. Don't move to Mexico just because the wrong president got elected. Don't, because you're going to be miserable here just like that, okay? If you're not happy with yourself, if you're not doing the work on yourself, if you're not doing things that you need to do on yourself to try to make things better for yourself, then, yeah, you're not going to be happy anywhere, okay? It's more about, if you're miserable in the USA, even though you're doing everything humanly possible on your end to make things awesome for you, then, yeah, you're probably going to be happy here, because you're removing yourself from the toxic environment that is preventing, your blossoming in or growth into what you want to be. All right. But if you're not even there yet, if you're still like, oh, I'm blaming Trump, or I'm blaming Biden, or I'm blaming, the space monkeys, or I'm blaming that. Listen, you're coming to Mexico, you're gonna be blaming Pedro, and you're gonna be blaming Johnny, and you're gonna be blaming Jose and Lambo and okay. So please, all right, make sure you know why you're moving to Mexico. And again, it's not going to... When I moved to Mexico, it was under Trump. Okay? So just FYI. Or again, remember, 6 years ago. All right? And like I said, it didn't matter who was president, in the USA. I was never happy. And it wasn't until I moved here that I was finally happy. But this is me. My own personal story. All right? That you guys can get more context on by watching the rest of my channel. So, anywho's, yeah, exactly, Mark. It's like, in the end, you don't make it in the U.S., you blame yourself. No, I agree, because, I made it in the U.S. many times. I made it multiple times, and, I thought I had a pretty good life, but as, things just started getting a little hairier and crazier, and then things happened to me personally, I got caught in the system, and I was like, oh, no, this is no bueno. I got to get out of here. I recognized the signs ahead of time, and I left. And man, I'm glad I did. But I agree with you. You know what I mean? Like, the USA, I don't know about today, but definitely, was, the greatest place on earth, and, definitely one of the best places to really, make something out of yourself. But yeah, we're living in a global world these days, and you can do that anywhere. You don't have to be in the USA. All right. So let's just, get that, don't forget that. All right. Let's just, like there's this guy out there named Gary V that I used to listen to. And, he said it all the time where people are like, oh, the people in the tech world, they're always saying, oh, I can't do anything because I don't live in San Francisco, because I don't live in Seattle, because I don't live in Silicon Valley. And he keeps reminding people about like all these companies like Facebook, they started in Boston, they started in, the complete opposite of Silicon Valley. And it's the same thing. It's not, and especially now these days, come on, like how many companies, how many things, are, started elsewhere, and things are more worldwide. And, again, people are digital nomads. Look at me, I'm living my best life out here in Mexico. I would not be able to do anything I'm doing currently with my life in the USA. If I were to be able to live the way I live here in the USA, I would be in the USA. But I can't. I don't have that level of freedom I do in the USA that I do here. And this is why I live here. And I prefer to live here. And for other people, it's different places. Some people would prefer Philippines or Thailand or Iowa. I don't know. But everyone's different. So, and that's it. So I think that's it. I don't know. Do I have any more comments or anything else? Mark says, I am right now in a hotel in Merida over a VPN to a company in the States working right now. Awesome. That's awesome. Good for you, Mark. That's good for you, man. Oh, awesome. Nadid. Will Trump respect Claudia? Yes. Trump and Claudia Sheinbaum, like I was saying an hour ago, Claudia was one of the first people to call Trump and congratulate him on winning. So, yeah, they're getting along very well. And again, if you watch the whole live stream, you can just rewatch it, rewind, whatever. You get to see how well they will get along and are getting along already, and how well Trump got along with the previous president, and so on and so forth. So, yeah. We shall see. For me, going back to the whole pendulum analogy, I was saying, the USA, just in the USA alone, their pendulum, the USA's pendulum, swung way too far to the left. I think if it swung as far to the left as it could have possibly gone. And now, again, it's pretty obvious, that the pendulum is swinging to the right. And if you know anything about pendulums, you already know the harder it swings in one direction, the more force it's going to have going in the other direction. So all that force that brought the pendulum all the way, to where it got, with the left ideology, well, now imagine how it's going to swing all the way to the right. And you could see it. I didn't even know this until like a couple of hours ago, because I really wasn't paying that much attention. But it seems that not only did Trump win, but the Republicans also got the House and the Senate, which is pretty crazy. And in a major victory, just like in Mexico, the Morena party, which is the leftist party, has been the one that is in the main power and has taken complete power. So, we're seeing a lot of similar trajectories in both countries, and it's going to be very interesting to see it all play out. That is for sure. That's right. Alejandro Flores, mexicano, says, a México no le importa quién gane mientras no siga con intimidad México Soriana. That's right. So there's a Mexican leaving a Mexican comment, and I'll translate that. And he says, Mexico doesn't really give a crap, who wins. As long as they respect Mexico and their sovereignty, that's all that matters. And like I said, the previous regime was not respecting Mexico very well. And Trump respected AMLO and Mexico extremely well. So I agree with you. And this is why I think a lot of Mexicans are going to be very happy, with Trump. So, and vice versa. So let me see. Tracy says, are you aware Trump has said he wants to declare war on Mexico and he has a great contempt and hostility for strong women? Yeah, actually, Tracy Morgan, I'm glad you brought that up. I actually did a live stream on that months ago talking about that. And even though that's just rhetoric, political rhetoric, it's not going to do that again. Because not only did he not do it before, but there's no reason for him to do it. Okay? And... it's a whole complicated issue that I already discussed in a complete live stream before. But no, there's no way in hell that, there's any kind of action, any kind of military action going on between the USA and Mexico. I mean, seriously, does anyone out there really believe that the USA is going to invade Mexico? No, of course not. And Trump is not, a pro-war guy. He's anti-war, which is why a lot of the people in power hate him. But long story short, no. The last thing he's going to do now, one thing he has done and is doing, and it's a continuing thing with the USA and Mexico, is that they work together, with the CIA and other intelligence and other things, in order to, try to control the cartel thing, which I already talked about earlier. But that's it. And then again. And then, what you were saying about him not working with strong women. Again, he has Tulsi Gabbard, on his staff, working with him. Tulsi is a very strong woman, and he's worked with a lot of strong women. And like I said, Claudia has already called and congratulated Trump, and they already had a conversation and yada, 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 yada. And they get along great. So, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, but, thanks for participating. And again, I know a lot of this stuff, to some people that are very ultra left, what I'm saying might sound like I'm very pro-Trump or whatever, but I'm not. Again, I got people in the audience that, call me out and think that I'm very anti-Trump, so, it is what it is. I'm not even going to get into all that conversation. You guys think whatever you want to think. I'm not going to, I don't really care. So, remember how he treated the German leader? Trump hated her. Yeah, Merkel was not bueno. Yeah, Merkel was not bueno. All right, so yeah, so what? He treated a lot of guys. All right, look at how he treated Macron. Look how he treats the president of Canada and other beta males. He doesn't treat them very well. And Merkel was like Hillary. All right, so don't get me started on all that. All right, so no, yeah, I know how he treated her. All right. You're protecting America, all right? Do you know how Germany was treating the USA? Again, it has nothing to really do with politics. It's just the facts and the facts and the facts, and that's it, okay? And again, if you follow my old content and you follow my other channel, again, please, I'm about to end this live stream here, and I'm about to go live over there on Unleashed. But anyways, if you follow, been following me long enough or know me long enough, you already know, all right? I'm on nobody's side, all right? But I do call it like it is. And yeah, no, Merkel, anyone, that thinks that Merkel was like, like an angel or someone nice. No. Are you kidding me? It's like she was she made Nancy Pelosi look like a cupcake, bro. Come on now. So anyways. It's like, what do you think Mexico will do about the millions of deportations? Oh, I already talked about that earlier. Mexico's deporting them. So the reality is that, again, Mexico has the same problem as the USA right now with immigrants. Obviously, it's worse than the USA. But the Mexican president, since October 1st, has already been deporting a bunch of these migrant caravans and migrants, to their home countries. So the USA is going to be deporting those people back to their home countries and not to Mexico, because Mexico's not going to accept them. And if they land here, they're landing straight in Venezuela. I already talked about this earlier in the show as to how Claudia has already worked deals with Venezuela, Cuba, and other countries to take them back or else. And Mexico helps with aid. Okay, so they give a lot of aid and help to these countries. So basically, like I was saying earlier, it's either take back these immigrants or we're not going to help you anymore. And a lot of these countries are desperate. Again, Venezuela, Cuba, so on and so forth, where, they're, communism is no bueno. Hungry is no bueno. And I could go on and on. So, but yeah, please, watch the rest of the episode for more. And that's it. We're done here. So, all right, guys. Huge Mana says he loves strong women. Sometimes too much. There you go. If there's anything to be said about Senor Trump, is that, okay? I totally agree with you there. 100%. If he's guilty of one thing is loving too much, all right? So, and I'll definitely agree there. I mean, right? He loves grabbing those cats. He's just trying to protect. He likes to grab the cats, right, to make sure that the Haitians don't get them, right? Is that what it is, right? Yeah. Anyways, if you want to hear, the uncensored version of all that, go join me on Unleashed. Okay, we're about to go live over there in about 30 minutes. All right, and you can really listen to, the uncensored version of these jokes and so on and so forth. So whether you hate Trump, hate me, love Trump, it doesn't matter. Go join me over there and let's go continue the fun and enjoy. And you already know, it's definitely going to be some interesting times, to say the least. Okay, so we got a lot of fun to be had, in the next 4 years, So let's see how it all plays out. So, all right, guys, with all that being said, you already know the deal. I love you guys to death, all right? In fact, I love you guys so much. I was even here, live streaming last week as I was feeling like death, because I was sick. So you already know. But anyways, again, please, I'm going to ask you guys a favor. If you like this content, you enjoy everything here, please like and subscribe. But please, go like and subscribe my other channel. Go join me over there. That would be... I would prefer you go subscribe over there than over here. All right, that's how much I'm trying to grow that channel over there. So please, help me out so we can all help each other out. And again, next year in a couple months, we're gonna be doing even more cool things on that channel that I got planned. Right now we're just doing the live streams. We're just experiment mode this year. So far it's been going great, and can't wait to keep experimenting and growing and having fun and enjoying. All right, guys, so with all that being said, you already know the deal. I'll see you guys over there in 30 minutes. Here, let me send you guys the link, okay, and put it in the chat just in case you guys don't have it already. But you already know the deal. With all that being said, guys, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And you already know, if you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon. But more important than anything else, please stay freaking awesome. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. And let's not forget, what can be unburdened by what has been. I don't even know what that even means. All right. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. See you guys over there 30 minutes. Bye. And see you here Thursday and Sunday and Tuesday. Remember, we drop videos here every Sunday and every Thursday and sometimes on Tuesday. All right. So see you guys on Sunday. Bye. Love you guys. Peace.